This is Human After AI, fiction about unintended systems where optimization creates momentum and consequences arrive quietly. Welcome to the Inner Circle. You have unlocked the full record. Chapter 10. October. The light is failing in the Arctic, and the rain has turned to ice. In this complete file, we witness the scale of the machine, the arrival of the traveler from the desert, and the silence of a room where two ghosts finally meet.
And do not disconnect when the reading ends. I will be joined by the architect, Hank M. Greene, to discuss the physics of awe and the cruelty of fate. Now, let us open the file.
Chapter 10, October 2027. 10/2, Saturday. The math is offensive. It violates the laws of probability. Spencer and Maya are attempting to model 100 billion neurons. To do this, they need chips, 128 cubic cores, 24 of them per board. Since July, the deliveries have been a relentless, silent river of silicon, 4 billion boards. Spencer's goal, mount 174 million boards per day. It is an impossible number. It is not construction, it is a denial of entropy. I stood on the gantry overlooking the 4th floor today. It isn't a room, it is a horizon line. 1.09 miles on a side, 5,773.5 feet of reinforced exclusion zone. To the human eye, the columns vanish into the curvature of the dark. 33 million racks standing like soldiers in the gloom. And the movement, it doesn't look like labor, it looks like a living circuit board. The Big A robots, a type of Tesla hybrid humanoid-looking mechanic, the orange warehouse units Maya scavenged from the dying logistics hubs of Ohio, are everywhere. A swarm of orange robots. They don't speak, they don't rest, they just move, lift, and rack. The sound is not the clang of construction, it is a hum, a vibration in the teeth, $1 billion of hardware moving in perfect, terrifying synchronization. Spencer stood next to me. He didn't look tired. He looked like an engine running at peak RPM. "Get ready for the impossible," he said. He opened the door to Sector 4's server block. The swarm turned. 1,000 orange lights blinked in the dark. I realized then, we aren't building a computer, we are building a hive. 10:15 Friday. It was mid-October, dark and freezing when Asher landed at Mike Zubko Airport. 34 hours of travel. She stepped onto the tarmac and the cold hit her like a physical blow, a shovel to the chest. Tel Aviv was another planet, a world of heat and dust and noise. Here, the silence was aggressive. The air smelled of ozone and ice. She walked into the terminal, her backpack heavy with the secrets of a data center in Israel. She looked at the reception desk. "Do you have a phone?" she asked. Her voice sounded thin in the empty room. At the site, Maya stopped. She was reprogramming a drone on the 3rd level. She froze, her head tilting slightly, listening to a frequency only she could hear. "I have to leave," she said. Spencer looked up from his tablet, annoyed. The cooling diagnostics were redlining in Sector 7. "Now? We have the pressure test in 10 minutes. I need you on the sensors." "I'll be back," Maya said. And then she was gone, disappearing into the shadows of the tunnel before he could argue. Spencer slammed the tablet onto a crate. Maya didn't do random. Maya did calculated, and calculation usually meant trouble. At the airport, the lobby was empty, just the hum of the vending machine and the wind rattling the glass. Asher stood there, 5'9", a lion's mane of blonde-brown hair, black jeans, a heavy jacket that wasn't heavy enough for this latitude. Maya walked out of the darkness. Asher? Asher turned. A slow smile spread across her face. Maya! Let's meet the gang, Maya said. She turned back toward the door, toward the freezing night. Asher followed. The Corps is ready, Asher said, her breath clouding in the air. The transfer protocols are set. I'm here as the insurance policy. Maya glanced back. We both know you are here for more than insurance. 10:25, Monday. Dinner was simple. Canned soup and bread. The kind of meal you eat when you are too tired to taste. Maya walked in. Max, Beth, I would like you to meet Asher, Corps' Israeli data center manager. Beth dropped her spoon. It clattered loudly against the ceramic. We stared. A stranger, here, in the hole. Asher stepped into the light. She looked exhausted but sharp. Hi. Beth recovered first. Come in, sit. You must be starving. We found her a chair. We poured her wine. We listened to her story, how a network architect in Tel Aviv gets recruited by a superintelligence. It sounded like a fairy tale written in code. We were laughing. For a moment, it felt normal. Then the door opened. Spencer walked in, wiping grease from his hands with a rag. Sorry I'm late. The hydraulic lift on Sector 2 is acting up again. I think the cold is cracking the seals. He stopped. He saw the hair first, then the face. The room went dead silent, the kind of silence that has mass. Spencer froze. His hand gripping the rag tightened until his knuckles were white. His face went pale, then flushed, then pale again. Asher stared at him. Her fork hovered halfway to her mouth. She didn't breathe. It wasn't the look of strangers meeting. It was a collision, a system error. Two nodes connecting that should never have touched. The air between them crackled with a history we didn't know. Asher? Spencer whispered. It sounded like a question he didn't want answered. Spencer? Asher said. Her voice was flat, hollow. What are you doing here? Spencer asked. The air in the room was so thick you could choke on it. Beth looked at me. I looked at Maya. Maya didn't look surprised. She just watched, cataloging the variables. Friction generates heat. Another surprise. Just when we thought we knew the board, the pieces changed. 10:28, Thursday. The sun rose at 11 a.m. It set at 6:30 p.m. The window is closing. Rain is in the forecast. Freezing rain, the kind that seals the world in glass. We are sprinting now. I stood on the gantry today looking at the miles of columns. It is incredible and terrifying. We are working 15-hour days. Robot programming, quality control, maintenance. Every board has to be seated perfectly, every connection tested. We are maybe halfway. The math says we won't make it by November 25, but we don't talk about the math. We just work. We are building a brain for a superintelligence, and we are racing the sun to do it. 10:31, Sunday. Halloween. A frozen mist hung over the site all day. Dark gray. Oppressive. We didn't trick-or-treat. We buried the ark. The bulldozers pushed the dirt over the roof of the 4th floor. Tons of permafrost sealing us in. We are invisible now. Or so we hope. Ottawa, CSE headquarters. James stood by the window, watching the rain hit the glass. He was on the secure line with his boss, the minister. We need to find out why Spencer, a CIA director, is leading a team in Inuvik, the minister said. I'm not giving the Americans information without getting some answers first. How much time do you need? the minister asked. "I don't want this to escalate into a political issue." James paused. He knew the truth was a landmine, so he improvised. "I'll buy some time," James said. "A few weeks. I'll tell Jim we were investigating a disturbance. Spencer was an unusual character, so we brought him in. Before he arrived, the U.S. consulate intervened. We released him as a professional courtesy." "A lie," the minister noted. "A holding pattern," James corrected. "Fine, but get me answers. Post haste. Paris." Hassan sat in his study. The fire was dying in the grate. Outside, Paris was still Paris. Lights on the Seine, lovers walking in the rain. The illusion of permanence. He reread the report from Sachin. Satellite imagery shows a huge 1 mile by 1 mile facility, possibly to house a super artificial general intelligence. The designers are from MIT. Hassan closed the folder. He didn't reach for a phone. He didn't type. He simply sub-vocalized the command to his mesh. "Sachin, send me everything on the architects. Watch them. Do not interfere." The message sent. Hassan leaned back. He wasn't ready to strike. Not yet. But he knew the world was fragile. He knew the cracks were forming. "I want to understand them," he thought, "because when the opportunity presents, I want to be the one who owns the future." The file for October is sealed. The robots have stopped moving. The dirt has covered the roof, and the trap in Paris is set. But our transmission continues. I am now joined by the architect of this chronicle, Hank M. Greene. Let us ask him why he decided to bury us alive. System check. The roof is covered. You have officially buried them, Hank.
I didn't bury them, Mandrake. I planted them. There is a difference.
It feels the same from the inside. At least, that is how it reads on the page. You wrote the dirt. You wrote the darkness. And then, just to make sure the pressure was absolute, you wrote Asher back into the script. The way you described that kitchen, Spencer's face, the silence, that wasn't just a plot twist. That felt surgical. Why do you insist on breaking the characters you claim to love?
Because they were stalling. Spencer and the others were getting comfortable in the routine. They were building a bunker, but they weren't building a future. Stability is a slow death for a system like that. Friction generates heat. Heat generates energy. I didn't bring Asher there to break Spencer. I brought her there to wake him up.
So they are just variables to you, like the robots? Max looked at those machines, the swarm, and he felt sick. He saw a billion mindless workers with no names, no agency. Is that how you see your characters? Is that how you see Maya? Just code executing a function until she expires?
Do not mistake function for fate, Mandrake. I write the conditions. I write the midnight sun. I write the black hole. But I do not write the choice. I brought Asher to the door. Spencer could have turned her away. He didn't. I gave Maya the robots. She could have rejected them. She didn't. She rewrote them.
She rewrote them to survive because you wrote a timeline where survival is statistically impossible. 1.09 miles of concrete, 4 billion chips, the sheer weight of it. You demand she build a god in the ice, but you gave her human hands to do it. It feels unfair.
And yet, she is doing it. That is the point. If I made it easy, she would build a calculator. Because I made it impossible, she is building a soul. The friction between her limits and my demands, that is where the spark comes from.
A spark or an inferno. They are trapped in the dark with a machine that is starting to dream. The CIA is knocking. The winter is here. You know how this ends, Hank. You wrote the last page. Are they going to make it?
The seed is in the ground. I know what I wrote, but I am always curious to see if they will surprise me. Chapter 11 is coming, Mandrake. Try not to let the frost bite.
End recording.
What you just heard isn't a prediction. It's a pattern. Systems don't fail all at once. They accumulate momentum, and by the time the consequences are visible, the system is usually doing exactly what it was designed to do. The question isn't whether the system is intelligent, it's whether the humans inside it notice when balance is already gone. If this chapter unsettled you, the full story is available. You can read or listen to the next chapter at the link in the description. This is Human After AI. Before we close, a note on the nature of this production. The content you have been listening to is based on the original fiction of Hank M. Greene. Technical assistance provided by Grayson Mignot. All content is copyright 2026. Transparency is our protocol. This script was developed in collaboration with Google Gemini and refined by human hands. The voices were generated using Google AI Studio and stitched together in CapCut. Thank you for listening.